Street Fighter 4 is the latest installment in the long-running Street Fighter series, and this is, without a doubt, the best iteration of the series. That may sound like a bold statement, but it is the truth. This game is more similar in vein to, say, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but of course it does bring a few new additions. One of those additions is the Revenge Meter. So what that means is you now have 2 meters to watch. You still have your basic Super Meter from Turbo, and it fills up the same way. You execute moves, and then when that fills up you can unleash a super combo. How the Revenge Meter works is you have to take hits in order to fill it, and when you pull off one of these moves it can be really devastating. But you can't always rely on this, so you have to keep an eye on your gauges carefully. Another thing that Street Fighter 4 has from the Alpha series is the EX system. What this is that you can modify each character's special move. Each character's special moves, such as you can modify Ryu's Hadouken to do more damage. However, keep in mind that this also drains one bar out of your super meter, so you cannot. So again, like the Revenge Meter, you can't rely on this, and you have to use it sparingly. One of the biggest additions to Street Fighter 4 is the focus system. And how this works is you press both the medium, punch, and kick buttons at the same time. What this does is it can absorb the first attack, and you can unlaunch a counter attack, and then you can just flow right into another combination. There's a lot of depth to this focus system. Like, another example is you can also use it to cancel out of a super move, but again, this drains half of your super meter, so be careful on how you use it. In terms of the roster, this game still carries all of the characters that were in Street Fighter 2, with 4 new characters exclusive for Street Fighter 4. However, new for the home edition are some characters from the Alpha series, such as Gen, Sakura, Dan, and also new for the home versions is that you can unlock Seth, the main final boss, as a playable character. Now, since this is a fighting game, you're probably wondering how it controls. And it controls very similarly to Street Fighter, to all the Street Fighter games, so that's a nice touch. So if you memorize those controls, you should be right at home with Street Fighter 4. However, for those new to the series, you may not be that familiar with it. Luckily, there is a trial mode, which allows you to learn each of the characters', moves and combinations. I do have one issue with this mode though, and that is for doing some of the more complex combos. It doesn't really tell you the timing, so it's kind of left as a guessing game, which is a little disappointing. In terms of the online component, online here is fairly basic. It's just, you got ranked matches and player matches. There isn't much difference between the two. In ranked matches, you go for points. In terms of my playtest, I found online play to be fairly smooth, with little to no lag. But in terms of its visual presentation, both the graphics and sound, this is a gorgeous looking game. Sure, it still plays like a 2D fighter, but the models in the game are excellent, the backgrounds look great, and the sound effects are forceful with some very catchy music. Overall, Street Fighter 4 is perhaps the best iteration of the series yet, and is my contender for not only Fighting Game of the Year, but also my Game of the Year. I want you to go check this out, you will not be disappointed. For a written review, go check out my page at giantbomb.com. I'll post a link there. Thanks for listening.